Hello everyone, it is time for more progression, but not all of the progression, on Barrow-Dyad, the exotic SMG. And I'm also gonna review it after this. We left off gathering 12 taken fragments before the game time gated us. This time gate has now been slightly lifted to reveal the next steps of the quest. The first step is to get to rank 12 at the shaping slab. You needed rank 9 last time, so you should be pretty close. All you gotta do is just play some episode 3 stuff in order to gain some reputation. It's no big. You're gonna scoop up the Moment of Clarity item from the rep track, and you will go collect more fragments from the Nether, 6 more to be specific. I intentionally did not pick any up before this step, so I'm not sure if this is retroactive or not. I'm guessing yes, but I'm not actually sure. Follow along on screen for another 6 fragments that I picked up. A reminder that they do appear on your radar, and they are not very difficult to find. Just hop into explore mode and run around, staring at your radar until you find as many as you need. The 6 that I'm grabbing are leaving off from the 12 that I showed in the previous video. This will ultimately give you Panic Response 4, the next intrinsic. Hi, welcome back. So, now you might be wondering what the hell to do next because nothing pops up. With Act 2 came the Writ Path of Ambition quest, which is only triggered by picking up a collectible worm in the Nether. I got mine by the King's Fall starting zone, aka the Court of Oryx area. I think this is the one that you need to pick up. This mission icon is located in the Last City Director menu area by the Nether and all the other stuff. Completing this mission allows you access to another side, for lack of a better term, of the shaping slab with its own reputation track, which will start at rank 1. You can pick which side of the slab you're on in Eris's apartment by interacting with the taken ball next to the shaping slab. Now, you don't technically need this for the next step of Barrow-Dyad, but I'm going to tell you to do it anyway, because there is a function of the weapon that changes based on which state the shaping slab is in, and you are going to want access to both sides. What you actually need to do is run Expert Court of Blades with Barrow-Dyad equipped. The game doesn't tell you to do this, you just need to do it and discovered this hidden quest step. Like, we didn't know that we had to do this until someone did it. However, the next step after running Expert Court is to run it again, but only with precision weapons like snipers and scouts and linears and Barrow-Dyad. But if you run Expert Court with such a loadout for your first clear, you do not need to do another one. So I would just run Barrow-Dyad, a sniper, and a linear, or something like that. After that, if you did everything correctly, you're going to go back to the shaping slab, and you will get your first catalyst, which is High Impact Reserves. This is not the most outstanding perk in the world, but it's better than nothing for now. Also, I would continue to work on your rep track for Path of Ambition. So I talked about the shaping slab having multiple forms earlier, and this is important because the state of the slab affects how you interact with the main perk on the weapon. If you're on the path of resolve, the way you get a boost in panic response energy on this weapon is by tagging 3 enemies, similar to how you would activate stats for all or one for all. If you're on the path of ambition, this changes to more of a single target perk, where sustained damage will give you the big boost of panic response energy. A reminder that more panic response energy going into a reload will give you more of the taken missiles on this weapon after said reload. That's the other perk. And people have found that this triggers pretty easily, the single target version. Not only that, but this change kind of makes this weapon a single target primary damage monster of a weapon. I wasn't really planning on reviewing this until all of the catalysts were out, but now that we have a clearer picture of how this thing is working, I can give some better guidance, and as a result, at least some kind of a review. There will be 2 modes of operation for Barrow-Dyad, and what mode I think you're going to pick entirely depends on the kind of content that you are going to be playing. And the same goes for the catalysts. Right now, we have high impact reserves, but soon we will get access to Hatchling, which I don't think is going to be a super crazy pick, One for All, and Target Lock. One for All is what you'll use for the Path of Resolve version, probably, and Target Lock is likely what you'll use for the Path of Ambition version, assuming you're staying pretty accurate. The short answer for where to use this weapon and what mode is: the lower in difficulty the activity, the more I think you're going to want to lean towards the One for All style setup, and the higher in difficulty, the more you'll want to lean towards the Target Lock style. This is simply due to health pools. You will be annihilating enemies far too quickly in lower difficulty content for you to ever really have a chance at the Target Lock style activations to really occur. That's not to say that the One for All style can't work in higher difficulty or vice versa, but I'm just trying to take a very general average here. I usually don't invest too much time into the idea of a best primary DPS weapon because it usually isn't going to beat out more advanced strategies, but it's still interesting nonetheless to see how much you can do by just holding down M1. Titans have things pretty good right now in SMG world, with Peacekeepers giving a nice boost, on top of Storm's Keep just dropping tons of lightning damage onto a target. However, Peacekeepers are not going to do that much for the taken missiles, since Peacekeepers falls off in between reloads and the missiles come at the start of a magazine, but it's still somewhat relevant. In fact, when I ran a quick test between Peacekeepers and Hazardous Propulsion on the Grasp Ogre boss, the results were pretty similar. One of the more popular setups of the episode is La Monarch plus Storm's Keep for Titan, because it will trigger a lot of Bolt Charge. Barrow is not only able to keep up with this, but sometimes beat out the damage of that setup. It also stayed toe-to-toe with Outbreak Perfected, although Outbreak got the better of it on occasion, thanks to rewind rounds and just not having to reload. All that being said, while Titans get a little something with SMGs, that doesn't make this weapon unusable for Warlocks or Hunters or anything like that, but I did mainly play on my Titan for the purposes of this video. This weapon reminds me a lot of Quicksilver Storm. Shooting the weapon builds a charge of something that you then deploy against the enemy. Except Barrow-Dyad might even feel better in some cases. With Quicksilver, you first had to load up 3 rockets, which pre-nerf wasn't that tough, but post-nerf is a bit tougher to do in a single magazine. Then you had to go through a lengthy special reload process to switch, then reload each grenade individually. With Barrow-Dyad, if you're shooting something that gives you full energy, you just reload and you let 6 missiles fly without any kind of a special reload. Oh, and they're also homing missiles. They're going to find a target for you, which is definitely more good than bad, although there's a little bit of bad there. I think Barrow-Dyad is also a bit easier to get maximum charge on in a single magazine in the average mid to end game situation. Here's a quick example. Each missile from Barrow-Dyad is doing just shy of 20,000 damage each. 6 missiles fired, total was 117,000 and change. Quicksilver Storm's 3 rockets do just over 36,000 damage each, times 3 rockets, that's 109,000 and change. So Barrow's full stock of missiles does more damage than Quicksilver's, but without the special reload needed, while also being capable of generating a full stack of missiles in one reload a little bit easier, while also having ammo slowly regenerate when not firing to give more of a guarantee to get a full rack of missiles. Also, I know earlier I said that Peacekeepers don't feel like they matter as much, but they still give you some damage bonus to those missiles as you start up the process, so if you use Peacekeepers, you're getting even more ahead. Obviously, there are some caveats to both weapons, like Quicksilver not having any kind of a timer to deal with and having micro missiles firing at certain interludes and all that kind of stuff. It's got a range advantage as well. But the lack of downtime on Barrow can really make it go crazy. One of the big reasons why I liked Quicksilver was its ability to deal with champions or higher health targets. Barrow-Dyad can do the exact same thing, as I use this Legend Lost Sector as an example. It's not one-clipping any champions or anything, but it's really putting down a lot of damage very quickly, although this footage does have Strand Surge active and Peacekeepers, but still. It's not all sunshine and rainbows for Barrow-Dyad, though. If you're on the single target version, you will struggle a bit against hordes of enemies. In this very same Lost Sector, you can see me get swarmed by Thrall, and because I'm not shooting any individual target for a very long time, you can see that that meter doesn't really build up that efficiently. The missiles are also kind of terrible at point blank range. They do feel like they have a small distance that they will travel, so if something is really in your face, you gotta back up or it's gonna be really tough to hit. The missiles also come out from the left side, so if you're shooting at something, you do need to compensate for that. Barrow-Dyad is an impressive weapon with flexibility, able to be slightly tuned to the kind of content that you are participating in. The missiles do a lot of damage, the weapon has a holster effect built in for some convenience. There is little to not like about this weapon. And as of this video, we don't even have what will likely be the best catalysts for it in One for All and Target Lock. Imagine launching some One for All missiles, another big chunk of damage. I know that there have been some calls to unnerf Quicksilver Storm. The rate at which you create missiles was reduced a little while ago. But if this thing is capable of doing what it is doing, dare I say we can maybe restore a little bit of Quicksilver's glory back to it. Barrow-Dyad is shaping up to be another great exotic primary weapon, so we'll see how well it does when it's at full power. But right now, it's pretty good. Until then, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.